Hello again, everybody, and welcome to ATI. Dan with Brian and Matt, ready to talk some football, ready to talk some playoff baseball as well. But let's start with the Patriots, who beat the Giants on Thursday night. It seems like that was like 2 years ago. As we taped this on Wednesday, it was basically a week ago.
I call it the birthday game because I turned 40 that day.
Happy birthday!
Thank you.
Happy belated!
4-0.
Happy belated! The big 4-0.
Yeah, they beat them in honor of me. Not so much at halftime. I was like, come on, guys, don't ruin my day. Don't ruin my day.
It looked like the Giants had a chance to cover the spread, and then they didn't.
Thank God.
It was that sneaky second. It was really the fourth quarter, but yeah, that sneaky first half cover they was not an easy one. But Daniel Jones looked not great, and the Patriots defense was very good.
Yeah, at the end of the day, what we talked about as far as Belichick being great against rookie quarterbacks kind of came into play in that fourth quarter.
Yeah, it was one of those things that all those issues that they had in the first half, where Brady holding on the ball too long, and like even the long touchdown pass to Golden Tate was a freak tip ball play that he's happened to catch. They got down to who they are this year, which is use the running game and let Brady just get rid of the ball in 2-3 seconds. And Belichick's second half adjustments much better than Pat Shurmur's.
We're seeing this every single week, Dan, where the first half you're like, this is the loss. This is the one.
Right, because the same again.
Well, even the Bills game for a little bit, you're watching that game, and you're like, oh, come on, really? Like, this is the game. They're going to put up like 40 points, and then at halftime you're, whoa. And then all of a sudden, like, these games, they're going to win. So, like, I was out to dinner. We went out, my wife and I went out to eat. And then by the third quarter, you're like, oh, okay, they're fine.
Yeah.
And it happened again.
Mm-hmm. So. You remember this is the Patriots. They've been doing this for 20 years.
They're wearing the other team out.
And they always are great at making second half adjustments.
Yeah. The other teams, it looks like it's almost like a high school game where they're running out of gas.
Yeah.
And, like, whatever their game plan is, Belichick deviates a little bit, and then the other team just doesn't know what to do.
The one concerning part I took from this is their defense, as amazing as it is, they're going to come up eventually against a real team. Now, we've gone 6 weeks and they haven't played a real team yet. And they're not playing one this week, which we'll get to. But eventually they're going to play a real team, I think. And that's what I wonder, is their defense going to be able to hold them in a contest where they can be tied or down a point at halftime? Or are they going to end up being down 17-7, 17-3? And no matter how much they try, it may take too much or they won't be able to come out of it. I don't think that'll be an issue because I think this year they're playing either up or down to their opponents.
Right.
But I'm afraid like when they play Baltimore or they play Philly possibly, what that game looks like at halftime and how they can adjust.
They are playing the team you just mentioned, the Jets, on Monday night.
They
haven't looked like a real team the first, 4 weeks of the season? Mm-hmm. But they did look like a real team on Sunday.
Came back.
In beating the
Their
Dallas
quarterback
Cowboys.
came back, and that was the big story.
Yeah, Darnold is back from the kissing disease.
Yes.
Had mono, but he looked good. The Jets, they looked solid in that win over the Cowboys. The Cowboys are backtracking. They lost 3 games in a row.
Cowboys are awful.
We'll get to the Cowboys, but as far as the Jets Patriots Monday night, we give the Jets any kind of a chance. They're going to be at home.
17.5.
Coming off of a win.
19.5. What is it?
You're the one with the schedule in front of you.
Yeah, what is the spread? Let's see.
I'm interested to see because
It's only 10.
It's only 10.
Come on,
Patriots
man!
are favored
You
by
got to
10.
take that one. You got to
It's at
take
the
that.
Jets.
If you got a pinky ring, turn it, turn it.
You can always give the Jets a shot at home because that's the game the Patriots always seem to struggle in. Just like when they go to Miami.
Yeah,
but this isn't late in the season. This isn't
true.
This is a meaning game. It's still a meaningful game.
True. Yeah, and I'm not overly impressed with any of the receiving core weapons, especially going up against the Patriots secondary. Le'Veon Bell hasn't shown anything this year. I think Darnold will definitely make it a closer game than what happened in Gillette in Week 2.
Oh yeah.
And if there are more of those special team errors, it might not cover, but they
10.
Just saying, they scored 14 points with Luke Falk as their quarterback in Gillette.
Okay.
Having a real quarterback in New England.
Weren't some of those points not from the offense?
Oh, none of them were. One was a pick six, one was a fumble in the end.
Right.
But isn't this a home game for Belichick too? Because
he just wants to,
He's like, can I sit down with Bill and do another interview?
With Parcells?
Yeah, that was fun. Can I autograph some furniture
Oh,
around
the
here?
crowd will be rocking. It's going to be a Monday night game. It's the Patriots coming into town. Fireman Ed will be fired up.
I was just thinking Fireman Ed will probably be crying a little.
Fireman Ed probably
Didn't Fireman Ed retire from being the super fan, and then he came back?
Oh, he did? I didn't know
Yeah,
he
because he
came
was the dark years.
back. Kicked him out of rehab.
Showing that literally everything can be rebooted,
That's right.
including Fireman Ed.
That's right.
So yeah, the Patriots are going to be at the Jets for Monday night. Let's talk about the team that the Jets defeated on Sunday for their first win, and that was the Dallas Cowboys, who have lost 3 games in a row.
Yuck.
After the first 3 weeks of the season, we all pretty much agreed they look to be the best team in the other conference, in the NFC. Now they've lost 3 in a row, including the loss to the Jets, who were a winless team before that game. What is happening in Dallas?
Wrong about them, wrong about the Saints. Thought the Saints would shit
Yeah.
the bed, thought the Cowboys would be a dominant team.
Literally the opposite.
Couldn't
Going
be
in
more
opposite
wrong about
directions,
the
and
they
remember
went opposite
and
directions.
they played each other. a couple weeks ago.
Absolutely, absolutely.
You can see the bandwagon. Dan and I are jumping right off it as it goes across here.
Making room for me.
I won't
2 for
jump.
1.
I won't jump completely off yet because I did say they'd be in the Super Bowl. But if they lose
Another
fourth
week,
in a row,
Dan, you really
fourth in a
that's
row,
a tough.
Yeah.
Well, the defense was what I thought was such a strong point, especially their secondary got torched against a poor Jets team. And then you also look at they can't put the ball in the end zone for whether they don't want to run with Zeke or they can't run with Zeke because he's still in Cabo. I'm not sure. That's the more concerning part is they're relying on field goals instead of touchdowns. And when Jason Witten, you're complaining about a called back Jason Witten touchdown, like you got issues if that's
And
your.
that game wasn't even as close as you think it would be because the Cowboys put up 13 in the fourth quarter. Mm-hmm. They don't. A fire doesn't get lit under their ass in the fourth quarter. That's a blowout. Mm-hmm. You know.
And their last 6 points came literally like on the last play of the game.
Right.
On the
Is
QB.
this finally the last straw as far as Jason Witten being on the hot seat? Because it feels like he's always on the hot seat. Jason Garrett. It feels like he's always on the hot seat, and then he just ends up being the coach the next year.
Well, I was thinking about this the other day. It's like I don't remember when Wade Phillips got the kick, but for some reason, whatever dirt he has on Jerry Jones, I don't think is going anywhere.
Jerry Jones has a lot of dirt on everybody.
So Jason Garrett has the job because he has blackmail on Jerry Jones.
It's got to be. There's no way a guy can go 7-9 for 15 straight years and still keep
That's
his
what it
job.
seems like, right?
It's
There's been a few seasons within his tenure where they've made the playoffs. They've never made it to the championship game. They've won a couple wild card games, I think.
you had the Des Bryant catch year.
Yep.
Which everyone said whatever they should have made it to the NFC title game.
Yeah.
Give that as a bye. You had Dak's rookie year of 12-4. You add Amari Cooper to that, and you've regressed ever since while making your defense better.
Cooper sucks.
He maybe.
You're just a disgruntled Raiders fan.
Yeah.
It's been a rough week, man.
But everything this team has done is to get better, which people always give Jerry Jones crap for because he's not a good GM. He just kind of plays Madden with it.
Throws money at the problem, man.
Yeah, but now the money is in good places, and they're good players. Now it comes back to the ginger in charge of
They
everyone.
have the Dodgers.
No, because the Dodgers at least make the playoffs.
Yeah.
Like the Dodgers in the playoffs, regular season, like 120 wins, we got this, and then fall apart.
Yeah. I know you wanted to touch on Seattle, Cleveland, specifically Seattle, because you're
5-1.
if you're jumping off the Dallas bandwagon, you're driving the car in Seattle.
Yeah, no, Seattle, I'm all in on. We talked about in the preseason. Seattle's that team that they'll never impress you. They just kind of hang around. Well, that's kind of what they've done through 6 weeks, and they've only lost 1 contest, and even that wasn't that big a loss.
3 touchdowns. Oh, wow.
But they just kind of do what they're supposed to. They don't impress you. And I'm interested to see how they just lost their tight end for the year with an Achilles injury. But
Wow.
they have a good running game. They have some good receivers. Russell Wilson is a gamer. Say what you will about him. That team's scary right now. And obviously they're not first in division because of the 49ers, but I think they're probably a better, more
They
dangerous
remind
team.
me of how the Steelers used to be. How we used to think of the Steelers the last couple of years. Like, well, okay, we know we're going to win talking on the Patriots perspective, we know we're going to win the division, but we got to go play the Ravens and the Steelers. And if you can get past them, you can get to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
The Seahawks now are that team now in the NFC, where if you're good, they're the barometer. If you're better than them, you're probably going to go away. If you're not good enough.
Mm-hmm. And like you look at who are the teams better or equal? Saints, Packers, 49ers. Saints and Packers are there every year with Seattle. We've seen the great games between them in the playoffs. And then the 49ers, it's their first year with Jimmy and Kyle together, so they're kind of the wild card unknown in all this.
Yeah.
But are you going to trust 3 teams that have been there before and proven, or are you going to trust the young guy that last year went 4-12?
The team, I mean, obviously the team you would trust the most is Seattle. They've got the history, no doubt about it. And then looking, like as you said, in that division, 49ers are now 5-0. They beat the Rams 20-7. The Rams are kind of spiraling like the Cowboys are,
Freaking love it.
in a sense.
Just love
They
it.
only scored 7
I hate
points.
to see that.
I love
You
it.
hate to see it. They only scored 7 points against the 49ers, who, by the way, are playing some pretty good defense
Right.
in San Francisco. So the NFC West is really intriguing as far as 49ers and Seahawks on top, and now the Rams struggling at 3-3.
And your Rams team that can't do anything offensively that involves throwing the football. You won't play Todd Gurley for whatever reason and give him the football. And you just go out and trade a first-round pick for Jalen Ramsey, which is great. He's the best top 2 corner in football. That's not an issue you have. You had a good corner in Marcus Peters. You traded him away for a third-round pick to spend a first round on Jalen Ramsey.
And what'd you think of that deal, Dan? Was it kind of, I mean, offense is the problem, defense is the problem with those guys.
Right. But I mean, they want to improve their defense as well. It seems like they're kind of a dumpster fire on both sides of the ball right now.
Maybe that team isn't. The Patriots have broken 2 teams recently. They've broken the Eagles and they've broken the Falcons. Maybe they broke the Rams.
How did they break the Eagles?
Well, they broke Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz has kind of gone downhill.
They broke
since-
the Bills Mafia, I can tell you that.
Well, that was his own fault.
Couple tables.
That's true. But they definitely broke the Falcons.
Yeah.
And maybe
Well, the Eagles beat them in the Super Bowl.
True. Yeah. Wrong dirty bird.
Somebody got outcoached, right?
Yes, and Matt Lodi is not here to defend his awful take. Belichick was outcoached in that Super Bowl, but they won the Super Bowl last year. 49ers and Seattle. Remember when that was a hot rivalry when it was Harbaugh versus Pete Carroll? That rivalry could be a little bit renewed this year with the way the 49ers are playing.
Something just doesn't tell me Kyle Shanahan has the same fire as Jim Harbaugh.
Exactly.
Just he doesn't have the khakis either.
But what could make it spicy is what's his name now being on the Niners? I can't think of his name, the quarterback.
Oh, Richard Sherman?
Yeah.
And Handshake Gate? Oh,
Right.
Yeah.
So-
Richard Sherman.
Circle the 49ers Seahawks games when they occur. I don't know when they're playing, but those are going to be games to watch for sure. We should also touch on the Kansas City Chiefs, who were thought to be the big rivals with the Patriots in the AFC, but they, of course, took another step back this week, losing another home game, 31-24 to the Texans.
Yeah.
That's another surprise.
I was really surprised, not in the Texans winning, because I think the Texans have one of the best offenses. They have no defense. Don't get me wrong. They're not a good team, not a good defense, awful defense,
Isn't that the Chiefs' MO? Kind of like it was like no, yeah.
basically.
So everybody, yeah.
It doesn't shock me. That game could have been even more of a blowout because Will Fuller dropped 3 guaranteed touchdowns in that game. And
Is he on your team? On his team?
yes.
Okay. I was like, how do you know that statistic? Jenner Campbell.
But he could have. Hey, it says the one betting on the Patriots.
Hey, gotta pay a mortgage.
Yeah. But so the Texans are a good offense, so it's not completely shocking to me.
Okay.
Patrick Mahomes can't move right now. His lineman keeps stepping on his ankles.
If you noticed that, I guess his mobility is severely compromised. And Matt was saying that there's been a lot of contact
The big one was in that Sunday night game against the Colts.
because he throws on the run a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the other thing I heard was that the Chiefs, this great home field and loud environment, yeah, they hold the record for the loudest crowd noise. But I guess their winning percentage at home over the last 8 years or something is only 40%, which you think about how great Arrowhead is in home field. It's somewhere around 40-50%. That's not great for home field.
And they lost last year in the AFC Championship game to the Patriots at home.
Yeah.
2 losses in a row at home. So now the Patriots have a nice advantage over the Chiefs, 2-game lead on them in the standings. They're going to play each other late in the season. Do we know if that game's in Gillette or is that at Arrowhead?
I think it's at Arrowhead because
Okay.
it's been in New England the last 2 years.
It doesn't really seem like it's going to be an issue if that's the case.
Right.
If they win that third game, though, that's the nail on the coffin for the Chiefs.
At that point, basically, there's the game against Baltimore and the game against the Chiefs are your 2 big games. Right
Yeah, those are your 2 hardest games. Let's say you lose both of those games. You're 14-2.
Right.
You by far have the best record in the whole AFC.
Yeah. Heard some talk that Patty Mahomes and Deshaun Watson, that's the new quarterback rivalry. Do we buy that? It's a little early to be
Is that what the
comparing
youngins are
them.
saying? Is that what's hot in the streets?
They're trying.
It's early to be saying that they're the new Brady Manning, but they're certainly the 2 young guns in the league.
Well, I think the thing that made Brady Manning great was that they were meeting in either the division or the AFC title game every year.
Yeah.
Or at least it felt like every year. And one of them was going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Outside of the 2 years Roethlisberger went. But it was the same thing where they said Lamar Jackson and Pat Mahomes in that game week 2 or whatever. That was the new Brady, man. So will Mahomes be in that discussion? Probably, especially if he continues on this career path. It's too early to put someone else next to him. Even though I think Deshaun Watson will be really good, I would hold off on that other guy next to Mahomes.
How about that other guy that you like, the Cape Cod League alumni?
Kyler?
340 yards, 3 touchdowns. The
He's
team
playing
isn't
some
great.
good football.
Well, he's doing all right.
in Arizona.
Kyler is killing it right now.
And he's not his agent.
No, but he doesn't have a running game right now. His receivers are getting banged up left and right. Larry Fitzgerald's still leading that team.
Yeah.
I think it took him some time. He's starting to scramble productively like Russell Wilson does.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they're not going to make the playoffs this year, but
No.
they finished 6 wins.
They're going to get a sick draft pick, though, or target for him to throw to.
Oh, well, they already have a bunch. The
But
kid
like,
from
you know what I mean?
UMass.
Like, yeah, they're going to get that left tackle they need, so he gets some protection. They're going to get a running back, so he doesn't have to pass all. There's something they're going to get pieces.
And they get all-pro cornerback Patrick Peterson back this week, so
Yep.
they'll probably finish with 6 wins. But they're a good little team, despite Cliff Kingsbury not.
And
being
then Bridgewater's still undefeated.
Yep. And the
yeah.
Saints are really playing some defense.
Yeah.
Well, I guess
I mean, they played a Jaguars team that doesn't really have an offense, but
Yeah, 13-6 the game
yeah,
or something crazy.
it was an ugly game.
But when you look at, obviously, you talk about Bridgewater and the Saints. The same thing I would bring up with Kyle Allen in Carolina or London this week. 2 quarterbacks, 4-0 since they've come in to replace the starters, like former MVP winning starters, Super Bowl contenders. Do either of them even fight for their starting job when the incumbent comes back? I think Carolina, 100% a question mark.
It's like the Eagles all over again, huh?
I think Carson Wentz guaranteed that, and I think Drew Brees has guaranteed his job back in New Orleans.
But those other guys are
Carolina-
get some dollars somewhere else, though, right?
Carolina, Cam might have played his last year,
Yeah.
especially with his contract. Almost
Yeah, I
up.
mean, like Teddy Bridgewater hasn't lost a game yet since he became the starter with the Breeze injury, but I mean, they scored 13 points on Sunday, so I don't think Breeze is feeling threatened. But yeah, the Cam Newton story in Carolina, I think, is something that needs to be looked at.
He needs a fashion consultant is what he needs. Some of these post-game outfits have been.
We haven't been
Outrageous,
because he's been hurt. Yeah, because he's been hurt. We haven't been able to see them.
Yeah, I don't know if it's like his jaw was hurt, one of them with the kerchief. I don't know what's going on there.
The last game from the weekend we should probably touch on is the Packers-Lions and that controversy with some no calls. I didn't see any of the game.
It was.
Neither the referees.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was torn because obviously when referees affect my decisions, I will, like in the Penn State game this weekend, the official that was the head official is well known to do bogus non-calls against us, which I'm sure he's done against other teams. So like in that mind, yeah, all 4 officials getting it right, firing the awful ones. And then all of a sudden Monday night, I'm like, it didn't really matter to me.
Yep. One point loss, huh?
On the last second field goal,
So Patricia's now 2-2-1,
Yeah.
but the Packers are 5-1. So
Packers
pull off second win, yeah.
leading the way in the NFC North.
I think
Go ahead.
I think the Packers will be fine. They'll probably walk away with that division because Phoenix, the Vikings are too up and down. The Lions, I think, are still missing some pieces.
Vikings are 4-2 now, I think. One
yeah.
game out, yeah.
And the Bears, I just don't trust Trubisky.
Games to at least mention coming up this weekend. Texans-Colts, a 1 o'clock game on Sunday. That's a big game in the AFC South. Texans coming off a nice win against the Chiefs. The Colts have pretty much been treading water without Andrew Luck. They're at home, so if the Colts can win that game at home against the Texans, they'll be 4-2. The Texans will be 4-3, and all of a sudden the Colts will be right there, kind of in the mix in that division.
Right.
It's interesting with the line being even on that game. If you had told Colts fans, hey, you'd have a shot week 7 to go top of your division and you're basically dead heat with the Texans, they probably would have taken that and just kind of.
Especially if you had said that to them an hour after Andrew Luck retired.
Yeah, like, no, we're going to go 0-16 again.
Right.
It's a little different this time.
Bears-Saints is a big one, too.
Yep, that's another one to circle. Saints 5-1, Bears 3-2. Bears, kind of a disappointing 3-2 because I think they were thought to be kind of the class of the NFC North.
They had a
at
chance
least.
to go 12-4. I think last year they were 12-4, close to it.
So that's a big game for Chicago, especially because it's at home.
And offensively, they need to turn it around. Matt Nagy's supposed to be a good offensive genius. He can't do anything right now. They can't run the football. Tariq Cohen's basically been a non-factor. Allen Robinson had a come-out game last time out against Oakland in London, so we'll see if that carries over.
And the fact that they're at home against a Saints team without Drew Brees, the Bears, if they truly are a contender, need to win that game. Last one I'll circle, is that Ravens-Seahawks Battle of the Birds. That's a big AFC NFC game, and with the way that we talked about Seattle, they can win. They're at home. If they can get to 6-1 and beat a strong AFC team, that's going to be a statement to the league, I think.
Yeah, I was reading somewhere Seattle, though, against the spread at home does not do very well. So I don't know if that's just they like that underdog mentality, and when they have to be favorites, it doesn't work for them. I just haven't been all that impressed with Lamar Jackson as a passer, as I've said multiple times. You look at, they're like, oh, you beat the Bengals by 6 points or 7 points last week. Yeah, but he had 150 yards rushing. Yeah. Like, if he doesn't run, he's not a good quarterback. I think Pete Carroll knows that. Seahawks defense knows that. I think Seattle wins by double digits easy.
I'm hoping that the Broncos invite the Chiefs to the Mile High Cafe. And the Chiefs lose.
That's tomorrow night, Thursday night game.
And then the Raiders are going to play Green Bay, which is not really going to be fun, I don't think.
At least the Raiders will stay one game back.
Yeah, Green Bay is, I like the Raiders. They're my feel-good story this year. They're my team, but Green Bay is a professional football team.
They'll be at Green Bay.
That's going to be a tough game.
So that's the story with football. Again, the Patriots will be at the Jets on Monday Night Football. I think we all expect the Patriots to win that game.
Cover.
And, yeah, that's going to be the interesting part because it's a 10-point spread. We'll see. We'll see what happens there. Should we turn to baseball?
Yes.
I have watched 0 baseball playoffs, but the Nationals I know are in the World Series.
Or the Expos, or whoever you want to call them.
Nationals formerly known, the artist formerly known as the Expos.
It's going to be weird next year when you're like, the Nationals, formerly known as the Expos, but kind of the Tampa Bay Rays.
They swept. It's all about pitching. St. Louis looked like a AAA team. Couldn't field their way out of paper bag. Ozuna dropped at least 2 balls. They hit right at him. The Cardinals look like that 82 and 80 team that won a World Series years ago. And you're like, I know the Red Sox had a bad year, but they could have beat this team. Nationals got pitching. Corbin's been pretty good. Scherzer's been lights out. Strasburg has been healthy.
That's a big one.
And then guys like Rendon, who had an awful year last year, he stepped up. Howie Kendrick, wow. He's got the Sam Cassell going on with that home run he hit, the grand slam. I was like, God, wow. And he just tattooed that one. He was looking slider, and he just launched it. Yeah. So that's 4-0. And then on the other side, we got the Yankees and the Astros.
Game canceled tonight.
Right.
Really? What happened?
The rain.
Oh, I hate to see that. But I'm sure they sold a few concessions before.
Well,
but 2-1 Astros right now.
Yep.
Well, so it was funny. Last night I was playing video games, and I was like, you know what? I'll put the game on. And there's just a delay. Like there's players sitting in the dugout, no idea what happened. Turns out there was a foul tip off the umpire's mask. And I'm like, baseball players and umpires, sure, probably hurt like hell. Really? You had to take a 28-minute delay to figure out what was going to happen when you have 15 umpires on the field during a playoff game?
Sabathia finished the whole bucket of chicken by the time.
Possibly. So, I don't know. I hope Houston wins. I think they will. I think pitching-wise, starters, they have the advantage.
Yes.
If the Yankees get a lead in any way, it's going to be really hard with that bullpen.
So who are the Nationals hoping emerges from the... Who would they rather play?
The Nationals as a team would probably play the Yankees because they can probably slug it out a little easier.
Yeah.
And
you got to get a lead early against the Yankees because they have everybody who's 35 years or older who can throw over 95 in their bullpen.
Yeah.
And they probably think that their starters can kind of mash out the Yankees a little and even them out.
The Astros have the best starting pitching on paper, but Greinke's a head case. So he's the wild card. Right.
And I really think Major League Baseball will do anything in their power to make sure the Yankees win. Because if you have to put Washington against Houston, and every game is going to be 1-0 because the starting pitching goes 10 innings.
It'll be like soccer.
But at least those still are 2 big markets, at least.
I guess, but
Washington's not a huge market. It really isn't.
DC?
It's indifferent. It's transients. It's
Like,
it's not a loyal fan
But it's
base.
not Tampa Bay.
No.
Or I'm trying to think of some
But it's
other
not the
small
Dodgers versus
market.
the Yankees, which is what MLB wanted.
Or last year,
So they could,
we got Red
so they
Sox
could go, oh, geez, because everybody in Japan, China knows who the Dodgers are, the Yankees are.
And at the same point, you look at like last year, what were the big exciting moments? There was the home runs, Pierce's grand slam, the runs back and forth. Do you hear the rumors that supposedly they may be dead in the baseball for the playoffs?
I did hear that.
Which I don't know if that's true, but I guarantee you they want the Yankees in not only market-wise, but because they put up runs, whereas a Nationals-Houston series would be a lot.
And it generates a lot of money for the league, which is something I know we have a little time left to running into, is the NBA and their money problem.
I just want to say one last thing about the Nationals. The run that they're on right now kind of reminds me of their city brethren, the Capitals, when they made their playoff run and finally
Dan's talking about hockey. Warning.
Yeah, exactly.
Warning.
When the Capitals...
Cam Pierce's Capitals.
When the Capitals finally broke through and won the Stanley Cup, it had been after years and years of playoff futility.
Yeah.
the Nationals are kind of in the same boat because they had years and years
Yeah,
of
I hope they
not
win.
being able to get past the first round.
I hope they win.
And now here they are in the World Series.
Yeah.
First year without Bryce Harper.
Yeah.
Right, and we should talk about that. Bryce Harper has to be feeling horrible.
Go Phillies.
But he's counting money, so it's fine.
hate him.
We don't feel bad for Bryce. Speaking of money, though, LeBron James is, he initially came out basically on the side of China because of money.
Yeah.
Because he wants money.
Which makes a lot of
So.
sense. Which really makes him a complete, two-faced liar, blah, 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 whatever you want to call him. He was at a players-only meeting, said, hey, Morley should get fined because if a player did this, he'd get fined. You're hurting our bottom line. He's costing me money. There's more people in China than there's America. From a business standpoint, he is in the right.
Yeah.
But
That's what makes this such a weird.
But it makes him
tough
come
situation.
off as the biggest diva jerk in the world. Barstool's already printed up T-shirts with him with the little Chinese hat on with the stars across it. Somebody told me 30,000 T-shirts were sold today in Hong Kong, and are going to be given out for free.
Oh, and the
People in Hong
the
Kong
protesters. Yeah.
hate LeBron.
Yeah.
Hate is
They were
even strong enough
they
word.
were burning his jersey
jerseys,
just
yeah.
like when he first left Cleveland.
Yeah, it's worse than that. And people don't understand how bad things are in China. Hong Kong is kind of like China light, and then the rest of China is like 40s, 30s Poland.
Yeah.
It's awful.
This is
awful.
where the NBA is finally paying for their relationship with China.
Yeah, television rights are getting suspended now. They're not. You can't buy jerseys in some places. They're talking no NBA games might be on television. The NBA is strictly about dollar signs, and they're looking at they're all about the money.
As is
money.
every league. As is every
They are, but to the point where it's like, I think they're kind of backpedaling now. And as Matt and I said last week, they can't win right now. They cannot win.
Yeah.
Is no winning because you're looking at a league, and I kind of was not okay at the moment, but the more I've thought, there was a CNN reporter in the first game after.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, they shut her down.
She asked, in the way he talked about it, you guys are very against what he said because of the money, but you guys have spoken out about all these other
All this stuff in the
political
United
issues.
States, so yeah.
And
First world problems.
why was it okay for you to do it, but when an owner does it, it's not okay? And the Houston Rockets came out and said, nope, you're gone. Basically, I think kicked her out.
Yeah, you can't ask that question. Basically, they censored her First Amendment rights.
Yeah.
So it's Brian and I said, no one's going to win in this.
Yeah.
And
It just makes them look awful. Makes the
mean,
NHL go, ha ha.
I'm honestly interested to see what the next contracts look like in the NBA because all of a sudden
There's going to be a social clause or something.
there's going to be that, but there's not going to be that $1 billion. And because I don't think the gambling revenue can make that up.
Right.
Yeah, so we'll see. This is going to be interesting to follow because this story is far from over.
Yep.
See how it plays out over the season.
Get 10 seconds left. Carson Edwards, 8 for 9.
Yeah, do you
8
wanna
for, 8
quickly
for
talk about the
11. They're 4-0 in the preseason. It means absolutely nothing. They have the best defense in the league. That means absolutely nothing. Carson Edwards is going to win the MVP of my league, not the NBA. But go ahead.
We'll talk to you next week. Spin the music.
Nailed it.